There should be a screen coming up right now.
Welcome to Apne Aap's virtual gala.
Hello.
Hi, great to see you all.
Nice to see you, Stacey.
Hi, Ambassador Bogyay. This is Minnie. Congratulations.
Oh, hi, Minnie. How are you?
I'm fine.
Oh my God, I haven't seen you for ages. So good to hear you, see
I
you.
know you too. You know what? I'll send you an email and we'll talk, or I'll post a direct message on Twitter.
Wonderful. Where are you now, Minnie?
I'm in New York. Where else?
Right. Okay. Yes, send me an email then.
Yeah, I will send you an email, or I will on Twitter you. But I've been following you.
Okay.
And actually,
I see you.
I will talk to you. Thank you.
Good.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Ram. Good to finally meet you.
Same here.
This is an exciting night. What has anybody been doing for the International Day of the Girl? You know, we're all remote. It's a little difficult, but we're here together, which is so nice.
Yes.
Just posting about it so that everybody knows what page I'm on in that area.
Right, exactly. We appreciate everything you're doing, Cheryl. It's pretty amazing. Thank you.
Everybody is doing, everyone. It's amazing what people are rising to the occasion to do as much as possible during this really crazy time.
Yeah.
No. Okay, good. Well, we are launching a very interesting play about the letters that Nehru wrote to his daughter when he was in prison.
Yeah.
Just to show how father-daughter relationships work and how fathers can mold daughters to become strong leaders.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. It's quite interesting how we can pivot, you know, after being in this crazy moment for 6 months or more. We're all sort of doing all kinds of new things, right?
Busier in some ways than before.
Much busier, yeah.
We don't have the commute, and we don't have to put on makeup except every other week.
That's right. Well, I think we'll start in a few minutes, right, Ram? I'm just texting with Ruchira to see if she has internet. She hasn't replied to me, so I'm hoping that's not the case.
Is Rushida in India?
She's in India, yes. She's in Forbesganj in Bihar, and the power goes in and out. So that's the tricky part of it. So sometimes if the power is out, the internet's really bad.
Hello, Rosanna.
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Lots of love to you all. And I hope Ruchira comes. And congratulations, Cheryl. And T. Is T there? Is T on
T is here. I see T.
I'm here.
Hi,
T.
Hey, guys. Excited to be here. So excited to be honored next to all of you. Thank you so much for inviting me. And it's just going to be a lovely night. I know Ram's been working hard.
He has been. He really has. Thank you, Ram.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Ram.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
It's great to see everybody, and congratulations to the fellow honorees. It's good to see you at least.
Yeah, we have an amazing group of honorees tonight, and it's really, we so appreciate that you've all made the time to be here, and most especially to do all the work that you do. It's critical. This is a moment like we've never seen in our history, and I hope we never see again. But the work we do right now is going to set the stage for certainly the coming years, if not the coming decades. So we appreciate you very much. Ram, should we start in a few minutes? It looks like we have quite a few people logged on.
Yeah, I think we can start. We basically had created the videos beforehand, expecting internet issues and complexities. Hopefully we'll have a wonderful presentation from everyone and you'll get to see it. And I want to thank everyone for participating, especially Ruchira. I know it's a really difficult time for her because she, as many of you know, also got COVID-19 in India. So she's been recovering from that. So again, thank you. And I'm going to start the program.
Welcome to Apne Aap's virtual gala honoring the last girl. Today, on the International Day of the Girl, we honor those that work tirelessly to uplift the last girl. Because when we uplift the rights of the last girl, we actually don't just change her life, but we change the life of the community that she builds around her. And the generations to come benefit hugely from her being taken out of poverty, being educated, having a future and a dream that she could really live. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here on behalf of Ruchira, Nandana, Gloria, and myself. I, Mona Sinha, a longtime supporter of Apne Aap, welcome you to this wonderful evening. You will learn today about the tireless efforts of the many wonderful people that we are uplifting and recognizing. Because they, like us, thank you for joining us. Please support our work. We work at the very grassroots with the very vulnerable, helping them with their most basic needs. Anything you support us with will be hugely helpful. This is not work that's splashed in the newspapers or on television, but it's the work that changes lives. And I would follow Ruchira anywhere because she is a tireless, kind, humanitarian fighter, and I'm with her every step. We're grateful to have you. Thank you, and enjoy this evening. Namaskar.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Welcome to the Last Girl Awards. I'm so thrilled to be celebrating the International Day of the Girl with all of you and to honor people who have stood by the last girl to prevent her from being sex trafficked. Thank you for joining Apne Aap's mission to create a world in which no girl or woman is bought or sold. The Last Girl Awards were set up by us to honor people who stand by the last girl. The award is about the last girl. The last girl is that girl who's the poorest of poor, the most vulnerable of human beings, the most marginalized. In India, she's the 13-year-old in a brothel. In the United States, she's the 19-year-old on a street corner. Her intersecting inequalities of class, of caste, of race, of age cut her off from access to food, to housing, to education, sometimes even protection. There are people who then prey on her vulnerabilities just because she's hungry, because she's black, because she's of an oppressed caste, because she's a teenager, because she cannot take decisions for herself or even control what happens to her body. They come prey upon her and pimp her into prostitution. In our endeavor at Apne Aap to end this system of prostitution, all of you have helped us. I'm so happy to have this opportunity to honor 6 people who have done this over so many years. My first Last Girl awardee tonight is T. Ortiz, a victim of sex trafficking herself, sold while she was in the foster care system in the United States. T went on to overcome her circumstances, to graduate from college, in which Apne Aap tried to help her, to become a leader, a voice for survivors. She went on to testify in the Senate and the Congress about the foster care system. She has run a campaign called No Such Thing, in which she explains to people that there is no such thing as a child prostitute. Children are prostituted. People take advantage of their vulnerabilities. And today, I am so pleased that Rosanna Arquette, actor and activist, will be honoring T. Rosanna helped Apne Aap help T get through college. My second awardee tonight is Chef Vikas Khanna. He's a Michelin star chef who lives in New York. I first met him when he made a documentary about a nomadic girl in Banaras in India who was prostituted in a shelter home and she wanted to start a new life. She was helped by a journalist. I then later reconnected with him during the COVID pandemic when I started the 1 Million Meals campaign. Chef Vikas Khanna was in New York. I was in Delhi. I wanted to reach victims of sex trafficking. He leveraged his contacts in the food industry, massive industrial kitchens, spice merchants, sanitary pad manufacturers, salt merchants, rice mill owners. And together, we were able to give 1 million meals to excluded women and children and victims of sex trafficking in and around Delhi. I want to honor Chef Vikas Khanna for this. He is being honored by my friend, a thespian who runs the Enact Theatre Group out of Los Angeles, Vinita Belani. The third Last Girl awardee tonight is philanthropist Cheryl Saban. Cheryl and I met in California in a posh Beverly Hills home where she hosted a luncheon for the Last Girl so that I would be able to send 100 girls to school who were daughters of prostituted women. Many of those girls are in college now, and Cheryl has stood by Apne Aap through all these years. We want to thank Cheryl by just honoring her in our humble way. Honoring her is Me Too activist and leader Ashley Judd, who with her voice explained what was going on in Hollywood to the whole world, the abuse, the using of people for sexual advantage. Ashley put her career on the line and with immense courage spoke up. The fourth Last Girl awardee today is a group of people who created a comic called Priya and the Lost Girls, which is partially based on my life and partially on activists who fight sex trafficking. Priya is a comic book feminist superhero who rides a tiger called Sahas or Courage, and she takes on traffickers. Ram Devineni, the producer of this comic, is one of our awardees, along with his writer Dipti Mehta and the artist and designer Fini and Neda. Thank you, four of you, for creating this wonderful comic to create awareness on sex trafficking. The fifth Last Girl honoree today is somebody you all look up to and admire immensely. That is Gloria Steinem. Gloria is somebody I have been inspired by because she's a feminist, but also because she's a journalist. She's always used her writing skills to be a voice for truth. She has also tried to use her writing skills to give women courage to speak the truth. I remember one of her lines often, "The truth will piss you off, but it will set you free." And I really truly believe that right now in our world today, truth and nonviolence is the only way forward to create a world in which no one is bought or sold. So I'm so truly inspired to have this opportunity to thank Gloria for all that she is and all that she has meant to us in our own journeys of activism. Thank you, Gloria. And the sixth awardee this year is Ambassador Katalin Bogyay. She is an ambassador to the United Nations. She is from Hungary, and she has helped create platforms and spaces inside the United Nations so that survivors of trafficking can come forward, speak, and help in the passage of protocols and conventions, which then go on to influence the laws of nations. I first met Ambassador Bogyay when I myself took a panel of survivors to speak at the UN for the creation of the Trafficking Fund for Survivors. And we were successful. I spoke in the General Assembly, and I'm sure behind the scenes, it was Ambassador Bogyay who created the situation where I could bring survivors of prostitution to speak in the UN. So thank you, Ambassador Bogyay. Her award is being given by Swanee Hunt. Swanee was also an ambassador for the United States government, and I met her when she showed The Selling of Innocence, a documentary I made on trafficking from Nepal to India. I won an Emmy for the documentary, but that was not all that the documentary did. Thanks to Swanee Hunt and to Ambassador Milan Verviers, who were working with the Clintons at that time, I was able to show that documentary in the US Senate and the United Nations. and then speak up for new laws and conventions on trafficking. The United Nations Protocol to End Trafficking and the US law, which is called the Trafficking Victim Protection Act. So I am so thrilled that her award, Ambassador Bogyay's award, is being given by Ambassador Swanee Hunt. This is a community of people who are my family of choice, and I am sharing this with you on the International Day of the Girl, so that we can all celebrate the last girl and those who have stood by the last girl. Thank you.
Yes.
That was inspiring. In a minute, we will see the awards being given to everyone. Congratulations to all of you. Continue to inspire us and make our world a better place.
I'm going to mute.
The Last Girl Changemaker Award goes to Wilthelma T. Ortiz Walker Pettigrew. T is an extraordinary woman I met years ago, about 5 or 6 years ago, at an event where I saw her speaking about sex trafficking. She herself was caught up in the foster care system for 18 years. 7 of those years she was sold into trafficking. It's a $96 billion industry. And what I saw was this really powerful speaker that was, I was just so blown away that here was this woman who had gone through such a horror, as in fact her mother at 4 years old sold her into sex trafficking at 4 years old. And she was positive and light and smart and just one of the great speakers that I will forever remember. And afterwards we talked and we became friendly, and I saw her a couple times in New York City where she spoke at the UN. And she was telling me how, she had put herself through school and it was really hard to continue paying for school and get her education. And it just was really heartbreaking for me. And so I went to Ruchira Gupta and Sybil Robson Orr, and I asked if there was a way that we could pool our money and help her finish college, which we did. And I feel really, really happy that she was able to fulfill her dream, because she's a light, a beacon of hope. And what she has done to advocate for children in the foster care system is really incredible work. And we need her. We need her in the world. The children need her. And we need to listen to what she's doing. She has so much to say, and I look forward to seeing the next years of you in the world, T, advocating for children who are sold into sex trafficking and helping them have a life like you have, because the life that you've built for yourself is really something to be proud of. And I'm so proud of you, and I wanted to say thank you for all you do. And thank you, Apniap, for advocating and helping intergenerational prostitution to obliterate it, help educate the women who then put their own children into prostitution because they're forced to. They have no choice. They are forced into it. And by educating them, helping them get out, get jobs, and have her life, it's something to really be proud of. And I love you, Ruchira, and all the work that you do. And thank you to everyone here. Thank you, Gloria Steinem, our queen. And of course, Cheryl Saban, for your incredible, generous donations that have helped ABNIAP and so many other organizations like the Rape Foundation to thrive and help women in jeopardy, women and children in jeopardy. Thank you so much, and God bless.
Aloha from Hawaii. I just want to start off first by saying thank you so much to ABNIAP and Ruchira for the work that you all do day in and day out to protect our vulnerable populations all over the world, specifically for young women and girls. It is just something that is remarkable, and I am just so appreciative and honored to be a part. Secondly, I want to give a big congratulations and appreciation for all of those who are also being awarded this year, many who have I had the opportunity to work with throughout my time working at the United Nations. And I just think that it's a powerhouse group of individuals that you've chosen to be honored tonight, and I am just so grateful to be a part. Lastly, we are just here to just give gratitude. I am beyond thrilled that you all chose me as a Last Girl Changemaker, as so much of the effort that I've put in throughout the last 10 to 15 years has been to make change, whether it's been changing national and federal laws, protocols and policies, or even changing the way that we talk and address about this in media. I think it's just been beyond belief to be able to be acknowledged in this way, to be able to know that my blood, sweat, and tears are going towards good efforts. I've never done this to be awarded in any specific way, but to have the opportunity to be honored is just incredible. And so I just want to say I wish so badly COVID wasn't taking over all of our lives, as I wish and would love to have been there. Unfortunately, this is what we've got, and I've actually got a little one on the way. So I wish very much so that we could spend this evening together and having this opportunity. But I don't want us to forget our dedication to the bigger cause. This is the day of the girl, and we just have so much work that's yet to be done. If I am a true change maker, I know that change is never done, and I know that my commitment is everlasting. And so thank you so much for all the work that you have done. Thank you, ABNIAP. Thank you, Ruchira. And I think everyone should, get to know more about this organization, more about what they do, because they are making change all around the world. So thank you so much for this honor tonight.
G, congratulations. It has been such an honor to watch you over these past years and really fight for your dreams to come true. I think you're a shining example to show us all what can happen when a committed group of people led by you are really in this to change the lives of young girls. We are so grateful. Next up, we will have Priya Shakti, who created this amazing comic book based largely on Ruchira's life. The story of a woman who is powerful. She has a tiger that is her vehicle to come in and create change and rescue the girls who are being sold into trafficking. A lot of ABNIAP's work is done in India, but it plays an important role in the United States as well by advocating for victims of sex trafficking at the United Nations. In addition, Ruchira has been present at many international forums and many countries where governments have actually changed their policies after she has testified at their highest parliaments. So we can't do this work without you, and we are so grateful for all of you for being here. So next up, we will hear from the Priya Shakti team.
Hi, I was honored to receive the Last Girl Award 2 years ago at the UN, and this instilled in me the desire to help women and girls impacted by sexual violence. The Last Girl Award is given to those who champion the most vulnerable girl, the 13-year-old in a brothel. My debut film, guys, Love Sonia, it gave me an opportunity to be the voice of the voiceless, to live and breathe the lives of these survivors who are my superheroes. And this wouldn't be possible without Ruchira Gupta and Apne Aap. Apne Aap works towards the issues of human trafficking and women's rights. I just want to say each and everyone from Apne Aap and Ruchira, I really look up to you guys. You're my sheroes. We are giving the Last Girl Cultural Change Award to the team who produced Priya and the Lost Girls, Dipti Mehta, Fini, Neda Kazemifar, and Devineni. Guys, this comic is based on the life of Ruchira Gupta and the girls who she helps to get out of sex trafficking. Priya is a feminist who rides on a tiger and fight against sexual perpetrators. We are giving this award to Team Priya because the comic has such a strong voice against the human trafficking, rape, acid attacks, acid violence, and any other form of violence against women. They use their talent and creativity to create awareness against this billion-dollar industry, which has consumed over 27 million women and children. Guys, please join me, Ruchira Gupta, and the entire team of Apne Aap to present the Last Girl Cultural Change Award to Dipti Mehta, Devineni, Fini, and Neda Kazemifar.
Hello everybody, my name is Dipti Mehta and I am the writer for Priya and the Lost Girls, third chapter in the comic book series Priya Shakti. Priya and the Lost Girls focuses on the issue of sex trafficking and more importantly on the issue of social stigma that surrounds the victims of trafficking. When trafficking victims do make it out, they're not really accepted by the society. They cannot find a place for themselves in the society as we don't let them forget their past. And that is the issue which is at the heart of Priya and the Lost Girls. We are so grateful to Apne Aap for the Last Girl Award. It means a lot to us. Apne Aap has been doing wonderful work in eliminating the issues like sex trafficking and prostitution from our world. And to be recognized by Apne Aap is an honor for all of us.
Hi, this is Neda.
And this is Sid. We are the illustrators of Priya and the Lost Girls.
And we are honored to receive the Last Girl Award.
Hi, it's Devineni, the creator of Priya Shakti. Thank you, Apne Aap, for this remarkable award.
And Devineni has also created our evening. So thank you, Ram, for all the hours of work that you have put into corralling all of us, making sure we record our remarks and putting together this show. It's much more fun to be together in person. All the past years, we've enjoyed each other's company, laughed, we've cried, we've shared stories. And this is a way in which we can share these experiences, even if it is online. I look forward to next year when we can all be in person, and I hope all of you will be there at that time. Our next honoree is none other than Cheryl Saban. Cheryl is a philanthropist. She is a global ambassador, affiliated with the United Nations, and most of all has been a champion and a supporter of Apne Aap for several years. Cheryl, we thank you for your loyalty. We thank you for your support. It has literally changed the lives of so many girls and women, and we couldn't do this without you. Thank you. We are deeply grateful to you.
Good evening. It's an absolute pleasure and an honor to help present the Last Girl Champion Award to the one and only Cheryl Saban. Cheryl is a philanthropist, a writer, and someone who understands that sex trafficking is a thief, and what it steals at the most fundamental level is our self-worth. And that is perhaps why her self-worth foundation speaks to us on such a granular level about the need to restore our sense of basic decency, our sense of dignity, and our sense of self-worth. And her drive to do that for girls, that most vulnerable last girl, is so powerful and precious. Cheryl has sought to do that through her children's books, through affirmations, and even at the United Nations as a special representative to the United States mission, where with such eloquence and passion and unerring drive, she has advocated for girls and women, and she's even done it through her hand-blown glass, gemstones, and jewelry, where she has, in India's red light districts, taught women and girls how to use their artisanal crafts to generate economic independence from the sex trade. I'm very proud of Cheryl. She's someone who both in an intimate way understands that self-worth is so crucial, and in a big, public, bright way understands that it's not something that we should be ashamed of. We need to wear our self-worth with our heads held high, and she models that for us all. She takes that last girl, the 13-year-old who's trapped in intergenerational prostitution, and cherishes her. I'm so proud that Apni App is recognizing Cheryl with this Last Girl Champion Award tonight. Please join me in celebrating Cheryl in the same way that she has had the courage to celebrate that last despised, forgotten, and downtrodden girl and lift her up in the same way that Gandhian principles have uplifted the last girl. Thank you so much.
Good evening. I'm delighted to be here on this special day, the International Day of the Girl, to join you in showing our support for the life-changing work of Apni App and their mission to end sex trafficking. I'm honored to be a recipient of this year's The Last Girl Award, an award that represents the most marginalized of girls in red light areas. It's a truly humbling acknowledgement, and I feel blessed to be among this distinct group of honorees and participants. I'm sorry we can't be together in person, but these are unprecedented times. We're witness to history in the making, a time that future generations will study. We have a global health pandemic, civil unrest due to years of inequality, and some of the most consequential political elections in generations. Tragically, during times of crisis, it is the most vulnerable, those at society's margins, who suffer the most. That is why Apni App's work is more critical now than ever before. And so I was excited to learn about the 1 Million Meals Initiative, a program started in March with the goal of providing COVID food relief to 10,000 victims of sex trafficking and their families. That is 2,500 women and 7,500 children, with 1 million meals. Well, knowing Ruchira like I do, of course, I wasn't surprised to learn that they vastly exceeded their goal and delivered over 3 million meals to date. This is just remarkable. When I met Ruchira many years ago, I was taken by her dedication and steadfast commitment. Ruchira is a formidable woman. She does not give up. I'm so inspired by her and honored to support her work. Apni App's philosophy of change is based upon the twin principles of nonviolence and uplifting the last person. I share these values, and indeed, they've helped guide my own philanthropy over the years. For over 20 years, my husband Haim and I, through the Saban Family Foundation, have made it our mission to support those most in need, both here and abroad, especially through healthcare, research, and access. In 2009, I created the Self-Worth Foundation for Women and Girls solely to address issues of empowerment and equality of women and girls around the globe. While I'm extremely proud of our work supporting girls through education and scholarships, mentorships, and social services, those resources matter little if a girl's body and spirit are not free. I applaud you, Ruchira and Apni App, for the remarkable work you do every day on behalf of vulnerable women and girls whose basic rights, a life free from violence and exploitation, depend upon champions like you. Thank you for this wonderful honor, and thank you all for continuing to support this most critical work. Be well, be safe. Thank you, and good night.
Can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Cheryl. I just want to say we're grateful to you because it takes people like you to keep us persevering in this work. You'll not be surprised to know that Ruchira has now distributed over 3.5 million meals, and our goal is now 5 million meals. So she is absolutely unstoppable, and the world can't do without her. Our next honoree is Ambassador Bogyay from Hungary. She is the ambassador to the permanent mission at the United Nations, and we are very grateful to have her support. The UN has been a very important forum for Ruchira and Apne over the years and continues to uplift the voices of those that are not heard around the world. Ambassador, we are grateful for you for accepting this honor. You have been honored by so many different organizations, including the World Academy of Art and Science, and as a fellow of the Royal Society of Arts. You also were awarded the Knight's Cross Order of Merit, and we're grateful to have you here with us tonight. So please join us as we congratulate the ambassador and welcome Ambassador Swanee Hunt, who will introduce her and give her the words.
Thank you, Ruchira, for asking me to be here with you all. And it's COVID time, and as you know, I never wear shoes, so it's not meant as a disrespect for you, Ambassador Bogyay. I am such an admirer, Ruchira, of your work. We've been friends for more than a decade, and you are the conscience to the world. And Ambassador, I've worked with a lot of UN diplomats. And there's a whole lot of talk about why this and why that, but you understand something, and you understand that opinion is in fact the lowest form of knowledge, and empathy is the highest form of knowledge. And so I want you to know that I read your bio, and being an empathic person myself, at the end of it, I was exhausted. You have done so much. I'm not even going to try to name the organizations, but I will say, I'll just pull out what you've done for women and girls, what you've done for the most vulnerable, but also what you've done for culture. And I say that in terms of your leadership role at UNESCO, because with sexual exploitation of women and girls and culture, what's the relationship there? Well, we say in our culture, men exploit girls. And so in Hungary, where you're from, men exploit girls, right? And we all know the story. Hundreds of thousands of young women who were destitute when the wall fell. And so men would come over and say, I have a job for you, being a model and or being a waitress. And then we get on the train, and one of the men rapes her, and another takes a picture and says, we're going to send this back to your mother in the Hungarian village unless you come with us, and you're on the streets. And Ruchira, you know very well, Indian culture exploits girls. And think about those girls. That's what we're all here to talk about is they're born into brothels. They are so vulnerable. They're female. They're not educated. And you're there to try in every way to keep them from starving. And I just want to say, in terms of cultures, in U.S. culture, men exploit girls also. And you know who does the most? By far the largest percentage is white men from the suburbs with wives, with children, and with an average income of about $140,000 a year. So I'm going to turn the phrase a little differently as I'm closing and say that through culture, we bring hope to the most hopeless. And Lord, people who are doing the work with this population of girls and women who are so abused, we need a well of hope. We go to Budapest with Charles, and he would be preparing an orchestra for the opening of the synagogue that had been restored. And after being destroyed in the Second World War. And I would be at the same time working with women leaders. And you know what they said? They said, you know, Ambassador Hunt, our girls are disappearing from our villages. And I mean, the lioness in me roared. But then I think about what you have done, and I think about sitting in that concert among those women and the looks on their faces, and I realize that culture at its lowest is for the elite, and culture at its highest is the bridge between beauty and vulnerability. So thank you so much, Ambassador, for reminding us of that in your life and in your work. And we are better for your bringing that all together. We need you.
Your Excellencies, dear friends, dear guests, fellow honorees. It is my great honor and privilege to accept the Last Girl Leadership Award. I'm deeply humbled to be recognized, and I want first of all to celebrate the life of Ruchira Gupta. I've been meeting you, Ruchira, for so long in corridors, in the United Nations, in the social media, in the international world of press. And I'm happy that I joined forces with you because you want to heal the world, one girl at a time. But if we save one girl, we save many dreams and hopes and lives and communities and futures. I have been committed to work on a global scale fighting for women leadership, against sexual exploitation and human trafficking, and against impunity, so that survivors can access social justice, so that the social stigma can be lifted. I work for a more inclusive society that helps to heal the wounds. I fight for women empowerment, to achieve the independence of women and to claim victory over any idea of girls being sold or bought. Dear friends, we need to raise the awareness. We need to work with international media and with the scenes of international art and artists, because they are part of preventive diplomacy. I cherish and I believe in preventive diplomacy. We have been working in the United Nations, in the General Assembly, in the Security Council, and in the corridors to save the lives and to change the world, to create a world in which Ruchira can lean back and retire. I'm afraid it won't be too soon. Meanwhile, I promise I will never give up. And I ask you, for all of us, it's important that we work together. Let us shine a light to end human trafficking together. I thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you so much for shining your light on human trafficking and showing us the path forward as you do so. Our next honoree is someone who has stolen our hearts many times over, none other than Gloria Steinem, who has been the voice of women for decades. Gloria spent formative years in India after her college years, and she says that that was a time that changed her life and taught her about activism, teaching her that we are all linked and not ranked. Presenting Gloria with her Lifetime Award tonight is none other than Bhatt, an icon in her own right. She is an elder. She is the founder of Seva, which basically means to serve. She created the first financial lending opportunity to women and started a movement which involved empowering women through small loans as they sat around in circles, discussed their issues, and 99% of these loans were paid back. It was the beginning of microfinance, which was given a fancy name and launched into the world, but really was started by none other than Ila Ben. So we have two powerhouses, Gloria and Ila Bhatt. Let's welcome them next.
Namaste. Hello, Gloria. Let me begin by thanking Ben Ruchira for organizing this event today. On the event of the International Day of the Girl, it's an honor to meet so many new and familiar faces in this virtual gathering of women from many corners of the world. We gathered today to honor Gloria Steinem. Gloria, this is the garland with which I'm honoring you on behalf of all of us. Look, Gloria is glorious. Gloria, whose contributions to the world of women, and for that matter, men, need no introduction. Gloria and her sisters in the United States set in motion key dialogues on women's freedom over women's lives, over women's livelihoods, and over women's own bodies. Her fight, lifelong fight for economic freedom, political freedom, and reproductive freedom for all women, whether through her writing, her speeches, or through the organizations she has built, continues even to this day. Great. Her life is dedicated to the cause of women, and no cause is too small or too big for her to take it on. I met her, Gloria, several years ago, in 1975, in Mexico City, at the UN Women's World Conference. I was introduced to her by our common friend, Devaki Jain, and Gloria was a hero in Mexico, let me tell you. Also met, more recently, we met at Smith College, a women's college in the US, possibly the place where her feminism began. It was at my granddaughter's graduation ceremony, and I too also received a degree, honorary degree, a doctorate, having chief guest on the dais of the convocation being none other than Gloria, dear Gloria. With me was my younger sister, who was also a Smith graduate, and I thought, this bond of sisterhood, really sisterhood within, so powerful. It crosses generations and cultures and infuses the women with a strong sense of collective strength. Both of us strongly believe in collective organized strength, right? Gloria is no stranger to India. She came here as a young woman and has made lifelong friends here. So, Gloria, you are a true elder sister, what we call Didi You are a Didi to women in India, but also everywhere. Guiding, inspiring, supporting, arguing, scolding, and always loving. In presenting you with the Last Girl Award, Apne Aap thanks you for your spirit and support as their Didi. And being here, I feel honored. Thank you. Apne Aap has taken on the complex challenges faced by young girls who are not yet women and yet are women. They are yet women before their time, born and raised in poor households, within poor communities, where getting an education is difficult and getting decent work even more difficult. The young girls are vulnerable to predation, exploitation, and trafficking. There is a reason why trafficked girls come from certain areas. Poverty produces vulnerable communities. That produces vulnerable people. Where there are few resources and no future in sight, women and children become commodities to be bought and sold. And of course, exploited for the labor, unpaid labor, sort of, and all the more exploited for their sex. Time and again, the most common story the common story is that they are lured by the promise of work in a big city, work away from village poverty, a new life with a new man, even if housework is the job. That is how they are lured. And this is a trauma. And after the trauma, there is another trauma. How does one begin to rehabilitate? There is the trauma, the fear, the lack of trust, and so much guilt and shame. There is a loss of a sense of self. Neither girl nor woman, pining for a family that recedes further and further in memory, and unable to dream of a home and a family of her own someday. And then there is economic loss, no earnings, no savings, no means to escape, and even escape, but where? No place to escape to. Apne Aap has taken on these challenges under Ruchira's leadership. Their multi-pronged approach provides a safe space to live in, provides legal help to fight the exploiters, provides education and skill training to build new livelihoods, and provides access to healthcare, provides government ID cards to gain access to low-cost food and housing, provides access to banking and savings. Most important, help the girls regain their self-confidence to face the world with her head held high. Great. I hope that such Their new bonds of sisterhood will help them look at their future with confidence, hope, and joy. I have a lot of confidence in the youth of today. If young girls who have lived through so much and survived, they've been able to find their voice, they can change the world. They will change the world. But there is a lot we can do to support them. We should support them. We need to invest in the poorest areas of our country so that there is decent work, paid work for all, for both women and men, in the whole community, the village. We need to increase vocational training of all kinds so that it becomes an integral part of education. We need sex education as well in schools so children know about their bodies. The first thing, we need to involve men in solving this problem. Shaming, shaming them, men, is not the way. No. Men and women are buddies in this world, in this struggle of equality. Let us start with the men in our own family. Of course, we not only need good legislation, but we need women judges, women lawyers, women police, women mayors, and women at all levels who can make sure that the laws are effective. Once again, thank you, Gloria, for your support of the Last Girl. Thank you, Ruchira, for leading Apne Aap in its commendable work. And thank you all for your kind patience. Thank you very much. Namaste.
It is such a huge honor. I can't think of any other award that would mean more to me than this one. First of all, because it was India that educated me when I was first graduating from college, and I have to say, escaping getting married, and I was engaged at the time. I just fled to India. Now, some of that was because I had read stories about India as a child, and some of it was because my mother was a theosophist. I mean, all kinds of, but anyway, I fled to India, and India saved my life completely. It was not that long after independence, so there was still the spirit of independence. I saw people lining up to vote and waiting hours and days to vote, which is a spirit I would like to transfer to my country right now, because we have a very unfortunate kind of COVID in the White House right now. We have to get out of there. There was also, as there is, of course, but a very alive women's movement that had been very important in the independence movement. It has special meaning for me that Ila Ben is part of this ceremony and is actually reading the words about me. She is the genius organizer that has inspired all of us around the world. She has organized the poorest of the poor women who everyone said could not be organized. And she proved that that is wrong. She is literally the inspiration to every organizer I know who knows about her. And every organizer who knows about her tries to tell everyone else about her. Because if Ila-Ben can do what she has done, how dare we say that we can't do the impossible too?
How lucky are we to listen to the words of these true giants in the feminist movement? A little side story. I was a trustee at Smith when we honored Ila Bhatt with an honorary degree. And actually, Ambassador Swanee Hunt was also honored the same year. And I said to someone, just make sure I have a nice seat. And guess where I was sitting? I was sitting between Ila Bhatt and Gloria Steinem. I really thought that night I should buy a lottery ticket because I won the prize seat. But honestly, the humility with which these icons have made change in the world should inspire all of us to keep on this path and do the same. Our next honoree, last but certainly not least, is Chef Vikas Khanna. Chef Vikas Khanna owns and runs a restaurant called Junoon in New York City. He's a Michelin star chef. He has written cookbooks. He's a star in his own right. And despite all his fame and glory, when he heard what Ruchira was doing in India with the million meals, he jumped right in. Jumped right in with his connections. He jumped right in to help her and showed us that his heart and his mind still remain with the most vulnerable people in India. We're grateful for his work. We're also thrilled to have Vinita Belani introduce Chef Vikas Khanna. I've known Vinita since our school days in Calcutta, as I've known Ruchira, and I'm thrilled that both of them are here with us today.
It is my absolute honor and joy to present the Last Girl Compassionate Leadership Award to Michelin-starred chef Vikas Khanna. Vikas Khanna is a Michelin-starred chef for the last 6 consecutive years at the Junoon restaurant in New York, and he is listed as one of the top 10 chefs in the world. There is, however, much more to Vikas Khanna. He's very attractive. He was on the list of People magazine's sexiest man alive. He was GQ's Man of the Year. He's commonly referred to as New York's hottest chef. But there is more. Vikas is a writer. He received the James Beard Foundation Award nomination for his book, Return to the Rivers. He is a filmmaker. His film, The Last Color, is an Oscar consideration for Best Picture 2020. And last, but most definitely not the least, Vikas is a humanitarian. Since lockdown, Vikas Khanna has stepped in to feed society's most vulnerable: the migrants, the sex workers, the old, the abandoned. 50 million meals worth through his Feed India initiative. The lead motive in all of Vikas's humanitarian and artistic work is his deep respect for women. All the women who shaped him, starting from his grandmother who first taught him to cook, to the woman in Mumbai who saved his life in the Mumbai riots, to his own mother, to whom this Feed India initiative is dedicated. Apne Aap is an incredible organization. I support it wholeheartedly. When Ruchira told me about her 1 million meals initiative in India early on in April, I happened to mention to her that Vikas is feeding people in India. He's a New Yorker. She's a New Yorker. They should get together. Their objectives were aligned. So I am going to take all credit for the 3 million meals that Vikas and Ruchira have served together to that most forgotten section of our society, the sex workers, the victims of sexual trafficking, and their children. As I said, Apne Aap is an incredible organization. If you're listening, if you're here, please open your wallets and donate very, very generously. $1 will provide 1 meal and a set of hygiene products. Just imagine, $100 can provide 100 meals and 100 hygiene products. So open your wallets, write a nice big check, and keep supporting Apne Aap.
Hi everyone, this is Chef Vikas Khanna. I'm super humbled and thankful to be receiving the Last Girl Award. This means a lot. I started Feed India on April 1st when I realized that hunger is going to be a massive crisis during this pandemic. We just started with old age homes, leprosy centers, and orphanages. And within a few weeks, we had to expand the operations into almost 100 cities around India. In 6 months, we served more than 50 million meals around the country. And this only happened because there were so many sponsors who came on board to support us.
Thank you, Chef Vikas. Thank you to all our honorees. This brings our award ceremony to a close, but we have a very, very special segment for you next. A very deep, heartfelt, and personal conversation between Ruchira Gupta and Gloria Steinem. Old friends, activists, organizers in arms. This is a real treat, so stay on for it. And then we'll have a final close from Nandana Dev Sen, who works with us tirelessly on these efforts. Thank you so much.
Mona, maybe we can invite either the ambassador, Ms. Ortiz, or Saban, if they want to say anything, because they were generously kind to appear tonight.
Of course, of course. Ambassador Bogyay, you're here in person, as is Cheryl Saban, Auntie Ortiz. Would each of you like to say a few words? You're with us in this room. Let's
yes,
have
thank you.
Highlighted. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, first of all, I just would like to repeat myself. I feel really honored and joyful, actually, to be with you, because I believe that we have to work together, as I said in my message. And although it's virtual, but I feel your energy. And I think we really have to inspire each other. As I said, I've been working for more decades in different chapeaux, I would say, fighting modern day slavery and human trafficking in different formats. And I must say that this shameful crime is well known everywhere in the world. And when we started to organize very strong events and gatherings in the UN, since I've been ambassador of Hungary here since 2015, we joined forces with fellow ambassadors and countries and NGOs, members of the civil society. So I've met many of you here throughout the years. And I really believe that it's very important for us whenever we talk in the Security Council or in the General Assembly, that it is one thing what we can do, how we can help people in need and the most vulnerable, but also how we can punish the ones who have been committing this crime. So obviously we've been working with the international organizations on that fields as well. A crime, as I said, which is so shameful that many people just even today don't want to talk about. I keep raising this question all the time to the Secretary General, to my fellow colleagues. We need to create more and more platforms. We need to have more and more, as I said, artists and media persons working with us, because it is so shameful, as many of my colleagues and UN people told me that even today they don't want to talk about. And if we don't put the matter on the table rightly, loudly, vividly, we cannot really be successful. I know this is an ongoing fight for all of us because of different reasons. I started to really deal with this matter when I started to see what was happening to many Hungarian girls who were trafficked here, in Europe, to the Netherlands, to England, to the Switzerland. You would have never thought about that. That's why I say that this is a shameful crime which is everywhere in the world. And we just have to join forces. And the United Nations is a very strong platform. And obviously, I do it in a complex way. I'm very committed towards fighting modern day slavery and fighting towards all atrocities against women and girls. And especially today is so meaningful, I think, for all of us, because this is the UN International Day of the Girl Child. And this message, what we are sending from here today to the world, is powerful. And I hope that we can inspire not only each other, but we can inspire more and more people working with us. So, of course, I'm very happy that a fellow ambassador was saying a few words about my work. I hope I can meet you, Ambassador, in person. That would be wonderful. I would really hear very happily more about your experiences, what you've done, and of course also about your Hungarian travel. The voice was not exactly clear, so I just asked my colleagues to write on exactly what you were talking about, what was this concert, and so on and so on. So I hope I can meet you in person. And again, from the bottom of my heart, I'm so happy that I've met you throughout the years. Of course, I started this work not in the United Nations in New York, but much before. And I also visited many girls in Africa. And I think this is an international work which needs an international platform. And I believe the United Nations is a very strong platform for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. What a call to action. You've inspired all of us to step up. So we're so grateful. T, you're going to say a quick word to all of us since you're here and you really are the true example of the girl child that's grown up now. So let's hear from you.
Well, thank you so much again for allowing me to be here today. I didn't know we were going to have the opportunity to speak live, so I'll make it quick. I just, I want to remind everybody just my gratitude that I have, and knowing that, if you would have asked me, just years ago, did I ever think that this would be my life and be able to be honored by such amazing individuals, I would have told you never in a million years. There was once a time in my life where I, wasn't sure if I still wanted to continue living because of the trauma and the effects of the things that had happened to me. And so I am so grateful now to be able to be a contributor and to be able to be a voice. And that is what I hope to do. I hope to show that those of us who have overcome this horrible atrocity, that we are not those experiences that define us, but in fact we have so much more things to contribute to the world. And so I just want to make sure that we keep in mind those who are still unseen and forgotten in so many instances, those who are marginalized, both systematically and racially discriminated against, who we have a responsibility to. I know that the amazing part about this is there's a collective of individuals from all around the world on this call. And I think that it's just a reminder that we have to continue our collective, course in making change for this population, and that there's so much power on this call and in our connections. And I encourage us all to continually to use those to make sure that we're making impactful change in everything that we do for this population. So thank you so much again, and thank you for the time tonight.
Thank you, T. Cheryl, can I have you on for a minute before we go on to the conversation between Ruchira and Gloria? It would be such an honor.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be able to say a couple of words. I've been, my heart is really pounding to be able to listen to these amazing women and men speak. I'm a rape survivor, so I have sort of a guttural feeling about girls and women being taken advantage of on all kinds of levels. So I was only 18 when that happened, and I'm almost 70, and I don't forget it at all. So I really am so grateful to all the women and all the men who are fighting for women's rights, for equity, for a level playing field, for a chance to have a life without guilt, without the shame that society puts on us. And, it's a very difficult thing to climb out of. It can take a lifetime, I know. So I'm very grateful to Ruchira and to you, Ambassador, to Gloria, to everyone that's here that really has made it a lifetime goal to make it easier for women and girls to stand tall and have a life. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Cheryl. We really appreciate you. And I think the one person we also need to appreciate tonight is Ram Devineni, who's put this program together despite all of the glitches and hitches and, technology challenges in India. Ram, thank you.
Thank you, Ram.
Come on for a second and say a few words. We'd appreciate hearing from you and then watching the video.
Yes, I want to thank everyone. We have a wonderful video with Ruchira and Gloria. It is about 40 minutes long. A very remarkable, almost being like a fly on the wall to hear this a Zoom fly on the wall, hearing this wonderful conversation between them. We'll be playing that shortly. All the videos that were produced here will be combined into a longer video and released on Apne Aap's YouTube channel and Facebook page tomorrow. And I'm sure Ruchira and Mona and everyone else will reach out to you with the links. Again, thank you if you do need to drop off, but hopefully you will stay and listen and see this wonderful conversation. And then lastly, Ruchira unfortunately has internet problems, so she was not able to join us. She was very anxious and spoke to her a few hours ago and very excited. And she sends her apologies and love for everyone for participating in this. And hopefully next year at the same time, there will be a live fundraiser event in New York City that Ruchira annually does. And then the last thing is I just want to say that Ruchira and I are producing a new Priya comic, which is coming out December 2nd, funded by the US Embassy. And it's a new comic focused on the pandemic and especially the women with nurses and doctors that have put their lives on the line in India and in the US so that we can all feel safe and comfortable in our daily lives. So that'll be coming out. There'll be a short animated film as well on December 2nd too. So I'm going to turn this over to the video and to Ruchira, who has some comments before she introduces her conversation with Gloria. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ram.
You've heard some brilliant speakers today. You've heard all our awardees who are feisty, courageous feminists. You've heard all the people who've honored the honorees, who are also feisty, courageous feminists. And they have been part of Apne Aap's journey to create this world in which no human being is bought or sold. We all are inspired by Gandhi, who tells us that this world should be created with the least possible violence and the most possible empathy. Our evening is, of course, going to end with Gloria Steinem. I'm doing a conversation with Gloria, which you will find most relevant and useful in our times today. But before that, I want to ask you all to think about the last girl, the 13-year-old in a brothel in India, or the 19-year-old or the 25-year-old who's standing on the street. These women have lost their livelihoods during the COVID pandemic. These women are about to be evicted from the rooms that they call brothels. These women are now faced with very tough choices. They have to decide whether to give food to their children or to recharge their phone. There are 11 people living in one room inside a brothel with no windows because the children are back from school. Some of them are contemplating suicide. One woman I know has run away, leaving her 2 children behind in the brothel, who Apne Aap has decided to continue educating by paying the rent and the Wi-Fi connection for online education. But the most basic thing that they need right now is to eat. Because if they can't eat, they can't live. And if they can't live, then how will they ever overcome this crisis? So I appeal to all of you to support Apne Aap and my 1 Million Meals campaign, which has been working since the day the COVID lockdown began on March 26th to provide food to victims of sex trafficking and excluded women and children all over India. We've already crossed 5 million meals. We've gone into red light districts. We've gone into slums of Rohingya refugees. We've gone to children and women who have been made homeless by the floods and the cyclone in Bengal and Bihar. We have gone to tea garden workers and given them food. We have gone in boats, we've gone in tuk-tuks, we've gone in auto rickshaws, we've gone on foot. We have taken police permission because transport was closed down. People were locked up inside homes to reach these girls. And I also want to mention this wonderful team of volunteers who have literally taken their courage in their hearts and their hands as they faced COVID to distribute this food. We want you to help us to reach more women and children and to keep supporting the women and children we have reached with food till they can begin new lives. Please do donate. Please, $1 will give us one meal for one person. And $100 will give us a sack full of food like you see behind you, with rice, with flour, with cooking oil, with vegetables and some spices. So for $100, you can provide 100 meals and that will keep a family going for a few weeks. Think about that. So please do donate to apneaap.org or to 1millionmeals.org. You can see the name on the sack and help us continue our program to provide food to victims of sex trafficking. And stay online because now you're going to hear Gloria speak and then I will follow with a conversation with Gloria, after which you can ask questions. Stay tuned, stay on the line and donate. Thank you.
As a feminist organizer who literally has played a role in creating the women's movement the way we have it now, what are the tips you can give for feminist organizing?
No, I think each of us comes to organizing in our own way, and we probably know that we are doing the right thing when we are using our own interests and what we care about the most. So there's not just one way, but I do think